Welcome back, everybody. It's Go, and today we're going to remind some people in the arena that they need to respect some mill. So, nobody is really prepared for it. Nobody's caring about it right now. Mill is kind of like underrated. Everybody's too focused on the Tybalt's trickery, BS, elementals, ramp, Golos stuff, goblins. I mean, the format is kind of blown wide open with a bunch of different aggressive decks, combo decks, and control decks, but nothing like mill. Like, nobody's playing mill, so nobody's accounting for it. I don't see any guys blessing, any clear the mind, any midnight clocks. Nobody is shuffling their graveyards. The closest thing I've seen is the commit to memory deck that plays like torrential gearhulk and stuff. But other than that, this feels really solid right now. So let's get into the deck. We're playing Dimir Mill, and what we're trying to do is get our opponent's library to 0. So of course we're playing all 4 copies of Ruin Crab. This is probably the best creature in the deck to be able to drop lands and mill our opponent. We're also playing 2 copies of Bruvok. We don't want to max out on this because it is a little bit awkward, and the deck doesn't necessarily need it. But some games he just closes out like out of nowhere, so you gotta play it. We have 3 copies of Teferi's Tutelage. This is another mill piece. Whenever we draw a card, our opponent's going to mill 2, and it draws us a card when it comes in, so it replaces itself. Playing all 4 copies of Maddening Cacophony. Yeah, all 4 copies. So being able to mill them for 8 with Bruvok out and having 6 mana, it just wins you the game on the spot. So this card is very strong. We want to see it as early and often as possible. We have 3 copies of Winds of Rebuke to be able to bounce our opponent's permanents. I chose this over Brazen Borrower just because of mills, and that's literally the only difference. Drown in the Lock is probably one of the premium removal / counterspells in our deck, so we're going to max out on all 4 copies. And we have 2 copies of Tyrant's Scorn. It's basically acts as copies 5 and 6 for Drown in the Lock to be able to like bounce our opponent's creatures or kill them if we need to. One notable thing is that we're also playing 2 copies of Unmoored Ego in the main board, and this is especially good because there's a lot of decks that rely on like 1 or 2 cards for their entire deck to function. So like if you can identify that you're going up against a trickery deck, if you just name Tybalt's Trickery, the rest of their deck falls apart. If you name Arclight Phoenix against the Is a Phoenix deck, that deck basically falls apart. You can name all of their like silver bullets, best win conditions, or whatever have you. On top of milling out all of their other resources, this card actually is shining right now. For interaction and removal, we're playing 2 copies of Thoughtseize to be able to pick apart our opponent's hand a little bit. We're also playing 3 copies of Extinction Event to be able to board wipe. And we're playing 2 copies of Ashiok to be able to bounce our opponent's permanents, as well as make some 2/3s that can attack and block. And our ultimate's cool, but we're not really too focused on that. And we're also playing 2 copies of Jace because we can win the game that way just by milling out our opponent. And this plus Bruvok is just it's good synergy. If we have like this whole setup, Bruvok, Jace, and Teferi's Tutelage, you're milling your opponent for a ton of cards every turn. And then we're also playing 3 copies of Into the Story because since we're milling our opponents out of their library, we're going to be able to draw cards pretty consistently for very cheap. And drawing cards with Teferi's Tutelage is a very good synergy. In the mana base, we just have a mix of basics, a mix of our duels, a couple copies of Fabled Passage to help with the Ruin Crab, and all 4 copies of Ipnu Rivulet to be able to mill our opponent for 4 cards. In the sideboard, we have 2 copies of Tail's End to be able to counter legendaries, activated triggered abilities, and stuff like that, as well as 3 copies of Disallow for the same effect, 2 copies of the Elder Spell against control if we know we're going to go against Super Friends or a very Planeswalker heavy matchup, 2 copies of Mystical Dispute to counter Orah, 1 more copy of Unmoored Ego, 1 more copy of Extinction Event, and 4 copies of Leyline of the Void to exile our opponent's graveyard, and that is mill. So we're going to take this into the arena, teach our opponents to respect it, and please leave a like on today's video and gameplay, subscribe and the bell, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys all in the wrap-up. Alright, going into game 1 against Kung Fu Magic Master, and I'm pretty terrified. This man has a black belt in arena, not one to be reckoned with. We're going to keep this hand, though. Alright. Opponent has kept a hand of 7. We shall do the same. And a mountain for our opponent. This is cool land. Goblins. Go figure. Top deck in the format, everybody. Or at least most played deck in the format. I wouldn't necessarily call it the best. But it's pretty damn good. Okay, tap land for our opponent. It's pretty good. So we'll lead off with the Drowned Catacomb. Now we can just pass. Our Drown in the Lock is gonna save our butts a bunch of times probably. We get to counter their haste outlets. We get to counter their Muxus. Slow down their their explosive starts. Opponent already have 3 cards in grave. 51 more to go. Yep. Perfect counterspell for the perfect situation. Gonna make this game a little bit difficult for our opponent for sure. So they have 3/4 mana. Plus 1 is 5. Do we hold up a counterspell again? Play the Ipnu Rivulet. See what they mill. Okay, hit a Matron. I could get the Teferi's Tutelage down. It would really start speeding up this process. I guess we do. I mean, it might bite me in the butt, because they might be able to cast the Muxus somehow next turn. Not sure. Yes, opponent. You can sacrifice your Skirk Prospector. I don't know why the game... I don't know why the game would even offer you such a thing. Alright, no attacks. 45 cards left in their library. Okay, Conspicuous Snoop is not bad. So now they can play the Wily Goblin off the top. Oh, well, that kind of feels bad. Let's see what they end up getting. Okay, another Skirk Prospector is pretty good. Yep. Sure. Aha, land on top. So they're Gruul. Okay. Probably splashing for like Collected Company, maybe? And Bone Crusher Giant. Interesting, interesting. Well, I guess we just take the 1. I don't know, that was like a trick. Unmoored Ego is really good too. I could actually just name Muxus and just be done with it. Not have to worry about it at all. Because we can also play Bruvok. I should have did that before I played the land, if anything. Muxus in the graveyard. We still don't have any information about what the green is for. It could be for Grumgully, Collect a Company. But we're going to go ahead and name Muxus. Yep, there's the Collect a Company. Wow, only 1 more Muxus. Okay, so Collect a Company was definitely the better pick. And they have the green. Oh no, this actually kind of sucks for us. We really should have named Collect a Company. Now we have to try to rely on our Extinction event to get us there. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good hit. If we can find our Extinction event, we have to name even. Though I think we're just dead. Yep. Good game, opponent. Damn. Alright, going into game 2 against I Am the Walrus. And this hand is good, so we shall keep it. We'll lead off with the Catacomb. Opponent with the mono white life gain. Great. Off to a good start. We can't counter anything, so we might as well just mat in Cacophony, right? Chunk them for 8 cards. Yeah, they're like the heavy life gain deck. Okay. Angel Vitality, Sarah Ascendant, Loris. Oh, Jesus. Yep. That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Well, we actually found an extinction event. Quite lucky for us. Running with 8 cards in our library. We're about to be taking 3. Well, we need to find a land, so let's play the Teferi's Tutelage. Perfect. So I guess we have to pitch our other one. Odd. So far, so good. If we can just keep it on the odd train, then we're okay. Sucks Heliod's not a creature. I could have hit him too. Alright, well, we're still going to name odd. It's going to slow our opponent down a lot. Yep. Hollow Priest is good. Ruin Grab's pretty good for us, too. 53 cards still. So they play more than 60. That's terrible. Alright. Ruin Crab. We'll play the land. I guess we'll shock it, because, no. Probably better off to try to mill them for half their library at this point. Okay. Play this out tapped. And then we'll just hold up the counterspell. 49 cards still. Yep. Just gonna go ahead and counter that. Dog's chasing his tail, he's so happy. Can't handle it. Speaker of the Heavens. That's pretty good too. Alright, down to 44. Down to 22. Let's go ahead and chunk them for a bunch. Now they're down to 21. But we're in top deck mode. Into the Story will be really good for us right now. Yep. Jace isn't bad. He's gonna die, probably. So target player mills 2, we draw a card, so they mill 2 more, 4 total. Hey, Tyrant Scorn. That actually does a trick for us. Alright, so they're down to 15. We get to pass, hold of the Tyrant Scorn. Hopefully, they find a creature. Try to go to combat. There's a Luminarch Aspirant. So they did find the creature. They play this, they get Heliod back. We can Luminarch Aspirant. They're gonna try to put a counter on something. Let's see where they put it. Okay, they go ahead and give their dude lifelink. Puts it on the Heliod. That's perfect. So we'll just go ahead and bounce that. Chips down. They can chip down the Jace, but they can't kill it now. And they're going straight face. Perfect. Perfect. So, unfortunately, they do get an Angel. They're saying good game already. Oh, they give up. Cool, we actually were able to hold off this other creature-heavy matchup. Couldn't do the same against Goblins, but going into the next game 3 against Ithacus. And our opening hand is okay. It's a little awkward, but depending on what our opponent is playing, this could be good. And our opponent is clearly playing the Tybalt's deck. Alright, going into game 4 against Spooner. And our opening hand is pretty good. We're on the play. Feels good. Looks good. Feels good. Probably plays good. They're ready. They're ready. God bless you, pupper. Oh, no. That is an Amazon van. I don't know if you guys can hear that. All I gotta say is, Bezos, you make so much money, dude. Fix your vehicles. Do a better job. Also, we're up against goblins again. So we have the rematch of a lifetime. We got our asses dumped by the first one, so we're gonna go ahead and try to take these guys to the dump this time. And it looks like we're gonna get there, because I mean we're off to a really aggressive middle start. We can actually hold up the Winds of Rebuke. We'll just play the Bruvok the next turn so we can get immediate value for it. Opponent's already having a bad time. Chieftain's cool. Still just going to go ahead and bounce it. Ooh. That Maddening Cacophony, though, could have been it. Drowning the Lock's good. But now they're about to mill 12. Opponent's already down to 23 cards. Very, very aggressive start for us. We can replay the Chieftain. That doesn't even matter at this point. Uh-oh. Say, don't be reading my cards. I will take that. I don't care. How many cards left? 24. Good game. Fabled Passage is exactly 24 cards. Ooh, and a Chandra too. Chandra's really good in that deck. And we'll just pass it up. So that was vastly different than the last time we played Goblins this video, and I gotta say, I like that outcome a lot more. Going into our 5th and final game against Le Green Mario, and our opening hand is pretty cool. We can lead off with the Ipnu Rivulet, so we still have the turn 1 Crab, followed by a Fabled Passage and double Cacophony with 2. Yeah, I mean, this hand seems okay. Hello, pup. This is our last game. We got there. We did it. Another day down. Mountain for our opponent. Snow cover mountain. So it is, in fact, Boros. Or at least mono red. Yep. Auto pay. Take the life. Well, that plane was very close. Runaway Steam Boy. Oh no. Is this Guilds of Ravnica standard? 52 cards in their library. We can mill them for 6, or we can mill them for 8. But we really need to try to find our lands. So I guess we should mill them for 6. Hold up the activation. Three cards. 3 lands, I mean. Another Robber of the Rich. Seems good. So we're just going to go ahead and crack this now, I guess. Get another blue source. 3 lands. Really helpful for our opponent, huh? Okay. Well, we need to try to find a board wipe, I think. So we should probably play the tutelage. That is not an extinction event. Boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, Jace is not going to do anything this game. Got a castle down for them. Alright, so they're down to 39. We're down to 15, though. And they probably have Embercleave. Another robber. Feels really good. Took a Maddening Cacophony from me. Juicy. Alright. No! No! Man. Embercleave. Runaway Steamkin. Dot deck. Oh boy. If I hit an Extinction Event, we're alive for one more turn. Because then it'll kill everything but that. And of course we don't get there. Oh man, that feels so bad. I bet you it's in these top 4 though. Wow, not even. Good game. Yawn. Mono red. A lot of goblins today. A lot of red. A lot of red. Welcome back to the wrap-up, everybody. If you made it this far, that means you finished the video. Thank you for watching, as always. And today we went 3-2 for pretty okay finish. Both of our losses were against red decks, so mono red and goblins. So our deck definitely still struggles against those super high aggressive matchups. But we didn't see a lot of like unnecessary tools in those matchups either. Like Extinction Event saved our asses against goblins once, and it never showed up against the other goblin player. So I mean, Extinction Event could have helped. I think if we could have played like Cry of the Carnarium or something in the 3-drop slot, might have been strong. And maybe like some Bloodchief's Thirst. We really need some more early removal. But otherwise, the deck is strong. If you can establish its pieces, it finishes the game pretty quick. And the sideboard, I imagine, is a little helpful, but we probably still want to add a little bit more removal here as well. But regardless, if you like the deck, I'll leave a link down below to the Ether Hub. Please go check it out, try it out yourselves. And leave a like on today's video, subscribe and the bell, all that good stuff. And let me know down in the comments below what you guys want to see next. And I'm Rob, aka Untype or Go. I'll see you guys all in the next video.